Okay, Baruch Hashem, so in Shir David, we're doing a very quick relationship flow, covered the sphere of Netzach Shebehod as we transition into Yesod, and we are the climax. We've already had this whole beautiful Torah about bringing down the teachings from the Shachar to Lavan, or Lavan to Shachar, to bring down those white threads of hair in our beard so that people can understand. And that the way we understood it here was that Abraham is Ma'oreh the Shachar. Abraham Avinu is talking Shachris. He's the one who's teaching us Tefillah Shachris. So Rabbeinu Kodesh and Likutei Halachos is teaching us that since he instituted Shachris, he was helping all the Pashtayin, all the simple folk like ourselves, to be able to have the opportunity to tap into this light. And that's what the Rebbes do. That's what the Tzaddikim do. They help us on our level tap into the Or. We get to go into all the Alamas and all the Spheres and all the Pnimiyus and all the Avodah of all Malchus Shamayim and Shemona Esrei, as we were learning on Shabbos, to make our tefillahs not kivar, not to fix them, but to have them more deeper and deeper connection. So that Abraham Avinu opened up that door, the first Yid, the first Jew in the world, to open up that door for us. Suichin l'chayos es a Malchus, and after constricting divine wisdom into lower the wisdom, we have to infuse that wisdom, the sphere of Malchus, with vitality. The whole is bringing down the energy into the lowest place, Malchus. So the way we invigorate Malchus is through the Or upon him, which is a famous Torah in Likutei Halachos, Likutei Maharan, about how we bring the light that shines the light on the three festivals. Certain Pnimiyus, an opportunity to see the Melech. The Melech is a Kodesh Baruch Hu, is a Kodesh Baruch Hu. The Pnimiyus, as we learn, the mysticism is like a loose translation. The real translation is Pnimiyus, means to ponim, the connection. And when we come on Yom Tov, we come to the Shalosh Regalim, and we see the Rebbe, we see the Beis HaMikdash, we see the Ora Panecha, the light of Hashem's face. He's shining at us. And that gives us ability to bring down the energy, the vitality into Malchus. Sometimes Malchus falls though. That's the problem. Shehi Bechinas Dalet La'aba Malchus. There's four kinds of Malchus. Yeah, we know there's four kingdoms that we have to deal. These are the four kingdoms of the other side. They have the powers of impurity and all these shells and things, Klipot, forces of evil. Shem Chochmas Chesonius. They're associated with external wisdoms. Dalet is delays. Delays means dalas, means poverty. So we have to bring, once again, vitality into that place. Where a place where seemingly there's no light, we have to bring the light, the Or. And that's what the Regalim does. And these four empires that we have to overcome, that Am Yisrael have overcome, we're at the end of it. It's unbelievable where we're holding historically. We went through Golis Bavel, Pras, Yavan, Edom, Babylon, Media, Persia, Greece, Rome, four Goliaths. And really this is the climax of Rome, Edom, which is a combination of Edom and Yishmael. That's why we're dealing with the fifth one, which is Yishmaelim, the most Pnimiyus challenge. But like we started with the Mitzrayim, it's the Kot Shal Yud, we're dealing with the end. And who began the first Golis? Yishmaelim. They were the first ones to sell Yosef into Golis Mitzrayim, after the brothers, the whole Maisa. And comes us now, at the end of the day, is you're dealing with the Golis Yishmaelim. So we're bringing Chias into the Malchus, into those Goliaths that we're dealing with. And that's why this one is the hardest, because we're dealing with the Chochmas Chitzonius, all these external forces that have climaxed now. And who can bear the sounds of the wailing when Malchus falls under the rule of these four kingdoms, as is caught in their midst? This is alluded to the verse, the shouts of the ruler over the fools. Words spoken softly by the wise are heard, about the shouts of the ruler over fools. I just had a whole shir on the importance of speaking benachas. David Olofsky, speak softly, and that can make much more of an impression than all these shouting fools, all the podcasts, all the nonsense going on online. This big noise of distraction around us. This is the Chochmas Chesonius. This is all the shouting of the fools. Chochem, he speaks softly. He says over Torah softly. Shekasir Rotzelis Chochem. It cries out because the fools want to become clever. So really, deep down, the fool really wants to become clever. He needs us. Am Yisrael needs to start shining their light. To redeem the law of wisdom, he must sever Malchus from what? Bechinas Chatu La'aba. As alluded in the verse, which says the Shmuel, by the prophet Shmuel, he killed the Melech Agag of Amalek. He cut him into four. Shmuel severed Agag before Hashem in Gilgal. And when Shmuel cut and severed the Dalet, the 4, naming the Malchus Holiness from Agag, because really the real war, Pnimiyus war, is not even with Yishmael or Esav, any of these people. The real depth of all the wars with Amalek. And that's, if we cut off Amalek from having any shlita on any of the kingdoms, then they won't hate Hashem, they won't hate Am Yisrael. They're all, the light of our nation will shine out to all the 70 nations. So really the job is us to get rid of this Klipa Amalek. And this is the key. In killing Melech Agag, that's what Shmuel Hanavi did. He cut him into 4 pieces. That's the Dalet, the 4 levels of 4 goddesses, cuts them off from him. And he has no Yanuk, he has no power now, because he has no connection to the nations. Amalek is Rashis Goyim Amalek. We're Rashis Yisrael. We have to be the Rashis, not the Amalek. So he goes on to say, there Ayidei Chesed. What's the Chesed? What's the Chesed of Abraham Avinu? We think it's doing acts of kindness, which is true, but the biggest acts of kindness to do is to help a person go back on his track, to save his neshama, and that's what the tzaddikim do, by them bringing us back. So he goes on, just to end off, he goes on to say, and this connects into the relationship flow, because you can't just give over big Torahs to your family, especially to your wife. You have to be very much the fee where she's at, emotionally tune into her neshama. As we said, the Sphira, she's already holding by Netzach Shubahod. She's already holding by Hod Sheba Yesod, which is tonight. Hod Sheba Yesod, she's already holding. She's already on the Bechina of understanding the Achna and the Sadik, how we have to machine ourselves to the light of the Sadik, and he's the one who's going to help correct us. Rabbi Noson's highlighting of key comes as Rabbi Nachman's lesson on attaining perception of godliness. This requires a Sadik capable of constricting divine wisdom to low wisdom. The uncomplicated understanding of Hashem found in Pashto Yidden in everyday Jews, while indispensable, such constriction leads lower wisdom, which equates with Malchus, with 2 faults and needs of rectification. The first is that some lower wisdom fails to inspire. It feels limited and insufficiently spiritual, so we have to bring the chiyas, the vitality, the warmth, so we're learning on Shabbos, bringing it into our Malchus Shemayim and Neshama, and we were learning about Abraham Avinu this morning, that he was the first one to make real wars against these Dalet kingdoms, these 4 kingdoms we were learning about this morning. You see, there has to be chiyas to everything, to Malchus, and that's what we're heading to, Be'ez Hashem, after Yesod. Yesod is bringing in the chiyas, of vitality, protecting that chiyas, of Yesod, of connection, and bringing it into the Malchus. That's the Shmiras of Bris, Shmiras Anayim, bringing it into Malchus, into the Kli, to Makabel the Or, so we can get ready for Kabbalas Torah. And this is the lower wisdom fails to inspire, feels limited and insufficient spiritual. Constriction has a word, rob lower wisdom, it's light. So like Malchus, it has no light of its own. To rectify lower wisdom, we must infuse it with the or upon him. That's the key of the Gilmore Regalim. We're going to have Shavuos soon. We come Shavuos, we're perceiving awe from Hashem. Kabbalas Torah, Hashem shines at us, the awe of the Beis Hamikdash, the awe of the Tzaddikim. Lower wisdom also has no response to heresy and the godless ideologies that would confound it. Herein lies its second deficiency. For a person's moon is not strong, lower wisdom, alertness, its innocence leaves him defenseless against the attraction of the chokhmas chitzonis, extraneous wisdoms. The secular studies, philosophical inquiries, foreign to Torah and Jewish tradition, things that bring you away, all this podcast nonsense where people are saying all this hate and negativity, divisiveness, and all the positive things that can be shared on podcasts that we try always to work on. The Tikkun is Osius Tinok. We have to get back to that purity of a child. The Tikkun rectified for this revelation of Chesed, the uncovering the love concealed within the Saddic's guidance, through which he brings back to Hashem those who have grown distant from him. So, Be'ez Hashem, we should be zocher to be able to share that light in the real way to our wife, to our family, to our friends, and to the world. There's so many opportunities in our generation to share that light and to realize that we're bringing Pnimiyus Chochmah, Pnimiyus light to Malchus, to people that need it, the Pashto Jews like myself. We need this light from the Tzaddik, we need the light from the guidance from the Tzaddikim. One of the things I've been doing is sharing a lot more Shmuel Diamond, Rav Shmuel Diamond's Torah, Rabbi Shmuel Diamond, and the journey to a blessed life, and we're trying to share it out. And Baruch Hashem, we got our first podcast request, official one, and there's other people speaking. We're trying to get that light out. That's one of the things I do, try to get people's light out there more. Just like we were just sharing Rav Shlomo's light, or sharing the Breslovers, Tzadikim's light. We have to share this light, and in our own homes is the first place to begin. Our own light. We need to come home with a ponim chadoshes, with a renewed face, and with shining, with all ponecha, with light on our face. Shine that into our home. and that will bring a lot of light to our wives, to our one wife, to our soulmate, to our children, and that's the kind of energy. And it has to be where they're at, and Bez Hashem will be zocher. My daughter actually said, just to end off today, she said she really felt, when I listened to her today and tried to just be there for her, she was talking to me, she said she really felt she had a father. You say it, wow, I should always be a father, but sometimes you have to push and make an effort to really be there as the father, the Abba.
Yeah.
And but that takes us being able to be Hod should be a sword, to come to their level and be with them and to connect as a Shem.
Amen.